Why We Name Patterns. 9 Modes Introduction, Part 3. By the Mercer Journal. The weather existed long before anyone called it weather. Storms crossed oceans, fog settled into valleys, cold fronts moved through entire continents. People experienced all of it. What they lacked were names. The names came later, not because the names created the patterns, but because the patterns kept returning. At some point, it became useful to distinguish one thing from another. A storm was not a drought was not a flood. The weather did not change when the names appeared. The ability to discuss it did. Human beings do this constantly. We name constellations, musical forms, games, species, architectural styles, traffic patterns. The sequence is usually the same. First comes experience, then recognition. Only later comes vocabulary. The name is not the thing. The name is what allows people to talk about the thing. A road map is not a road. A blueprint is not a building. A weather report is not the weather. The map exists because reality contains enough recurring structure to make mapping worthwhile. No one confuses the map for the territory. The value of the map is that it helps people navigate territory they already inhabit. Conversations may be no different. Most people recognize that conversations can feel dramatically different from one another. Some feel exploratory. Two people are trying to understand something neither fully sees yet. Some feel instructional. One person is transferring knowledge. Some feel collaborative. Both participants are building toward a shared outcome. Some feel adversarial. The energy shifts from understanding to defending positions. Some seem unable to move at all. The same points repeat, the same misunderstandings return, the conversation circles without finding traction. Most people know these experiences immediately. They do not require specialized training. The recognition arrives before the explanation. Yet if asked to describe what is different between these conversations, many people find themselves reaching for descriptions of the participants. He's stubborn, she's a good communicator. He's defensive, she's thoughtful. Those observations may be accurate, but they do not quite describe the conversation itself. They describe the people inside it. For the first 2 articles of this series, we have been looking at that distinction. First, we considered the possibility that conversations possess organization beyond the words being exchanged. Then we considered why that organization is so easy to overlook. People are visible. Organization must be inferred. Now another question appears. If conversations repeatedly organize themselves in recognizable ways, how do we talk about those patterns? Imagine discussing weather without words like storm, fog, drought, or hurricane. People would still experience the weather, they would still notice differences, but comparison would become difficult. One person would describe a week of heavy rain, another would describe powerful winds, a third would describe falling temperatures. Everybody would be observing the same reality, yet the lack of shared vocabulary would make the reality harder to discuss. Conversation may have a similar problem. The patterns are often recognized long before they're named. You have likely left one conversation energized and another exhausted. One conversation clarified a problem. Another somehow made it worse. One produced cooperation, another produced friction. One moved naturally, another stalled. The experiences are familiar, the vocabulary is less developed. If recurring conversational organizations exist, then naming them becomes useful, not because the names create the organization, because recurring organization becomes easier to observe once it has language attached to it. This brings us to the purpose of the 9 modes. The 9 modes are not personality types. They are not identities. They are not communication styles. They are not moral categories, and they do not describe what a person is. They describe how a conversation is organizing. The same person may participate in several modes in a single day. The same conversation may transition through multiple modes in an hour. The map concerns organization, not identity. Like any map, it is imperfect. Maps simplify. reality remains more detailed than the diagram describing it, but simplification is not the purpose. Orientation is. A useful map helps people recognize where they are. It helps them compare experiences. It helps them discuss recurring patterns. Most importantly, it helps them notice structure that was already present. That is the purpose of the 9 modes. Not to create a new reality, but to provide language for one that many people already recognize. For 2 articles, we have been asking what conversations are and why their organization is so easy to overlook. The next step is simpler. Look at the map. Not because the map is the territory, but because territory often becomes easier to see once its patterns have names. The Mercer Journal is an independent, reader-supported platform. You can back our work at ko-fi.com/WEMercer. That's ko-fi.com/WEMERCER. And thanks for listening.